excited right now because guess what? We are already live. Welcome back to Power 97.5 LA.
Yes.
Power V Vegas, 97.5 LA, iHeartRadio, iGlobal Media, and all of the things. Today on the Jameer Smith Show and the JS Journals, I'm so excited because we are celebrating a powerful rising voice in film and television. Born and raised in a place where the food is everything and the beignets are beignets. New Orleans, Aziza Scott, you have carved an amazing lane in your own words and in your own footprints. And when I just think of you and the moment that we said, hold on, I got to get this girl on the show because not only is she driving a smart car and all of the things, I just really thought about just your standout performances in films and shows and all the things like Home Before Dark and Twenties and One of Them Days and The Fosters and even some of your early appearances on Insecure and Murder in the First. And now, one of the most exciting casting announcements of the year. Aziza Scott is the latest character and actor to join Italiana, which is Universal Pictures and Will Packer, which I used to work for Will Packer, which is absolutely crazy, and I love it.
That's so cool.
I mean, it's like full circle.
Yes.
In the upcoming romantic comedy starring the one and only Hallie is, I mean, when I saw the trailer, you don't even see her first. You see this one first on the trailer, y'all. Everybody put your hands together for Aziza Scott is in the building.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm so happy to be here.
Oh my gosh. First of all, I'm so excited to have you on the show. But before we get started, we've started this in 2020. Okay. And I built this show on the backs of creatives and celebrities and writers and directors and all of us that really have a voice and have provided blueprints for others to follow. And we're standing on a lot of shoulders. But before we begin, how are you? How has this year been for you as we are wrapping up the year, which is crazy?
I know.
But how has this year been for you?
Oh, such a blessing. Yeah. I am so grateful. I'll just start thanking God immediately, like just at random times, because this year has been so awesome. Like I can't even like yesterday was we just celebrated Thanksgiving.
Yeah.
And we had a moment of silence before prayer. Where we just went in and just thank God for everything. And I was like, God, you showed out this year. You showed out in my life. And I'm just so happy and so grateful. Gratitude. I feel like when you stay in gratitude, blessings they come on in, you know.
They do. They enter on in the building. It was interesting. Yep. We did the same thing because it was just a moment of prayer. And then afterwards, it was like, okay, let's play some games. And the games didn't turn into games. It was like a whole revelation of just all of the things that we're experiencing throughout this world. And I think you are a heartbeat of what a lot of people talk about. I was able to look at your Instagram story, and I'll tell you, this girl here was turned up, having a good time in these streets. I said,
I was, honey.
Ma'am.
Yes. So I was actually born in New Orleans, but raised in Houston, Texas. Yeah.
Well, and I was thinking about that. Like for us, we always like to go back, right? Being born in New Orleans and being raised in Houston, Texas, a place where a lot of stories, honestly, really do live in the air. How did that environment really shape your artistry?
Man, I love. So I'm from Missouri City.
Okay.
I grew up in Missouri City, and it was around so many Black people, and all my aunts and uncles. Everybody lived in this neighborhood, and we all went to the same church, and
it was like a whole community, right?
The whole community, right? No, but it was great growing up. I come from a big family. My grandma had like 7 kids, so I have a lot of cousins. So I was always at my cousin's house, or they was over at the house, and we were always playing. And I think that's where like my imagination just grew.
Yeah.
I'm big on the imagination. I've loved acting since I was a little bitty girl.
Okay.
You know how your parents interview you when you're little. When I was 4, I was being interviewed, and they asked, they said, "So Aziza, what do you want to be when you grow up?" And I don't think I knew many words at four,
Right.
but I was like, a movie star. I said it at 4 years old. And the crazy part is I hadn't seen that, like that interview was sent to me years later. So I didn't even remember that it happened, but I was already on the journey. Like I was already
Mm-hmm.
in
Mm-hmm.
plays since elementary. I was talent shows. And I think I saw that video of me when I was four. I think I had to be like 15 or 16 when I first saw
Wow.
it.
Wow.
And I was like, wow, I've been on this journey, this same journey.
Mm-hmm.
It's what I love to do. Acting is my favorite thing. And yeah, there's no plan B. It was like,
There
what's
is
plan
no plan
B?
B. There's a
I don't
plan
have
A.
one,
And that's
darling.
it's
Just
like,
this
listen, we
one.
figure it out. But I
Yep.
think the beauty about who you are and the roles that you have chosen or have been chosen for you or that you've prayed for, they've been in alignment.
Mhm.
And what I love about your heart is that your heart really does speak into an existence of what so many other people kind of see within themselves and say, oh my God, if she can do it, I know I can do it, and all of the things.
Yes. Yes.
When audiences, fans, people, friends, whatever, kind of see your work, right?
Uh,
They often mention you as groundness. You're very grounded when it comes to your work. Where
mhm.
does that come from?
I think when you give me a scenario or when I'm thinking about the work, the scene, it is real
Yeah.
to me. You
Yeah.
cannot tell me or convince me that this world isn't the real world, you
Yeah.
know.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and I think it deals with a lot of being present. When
Mm-hmm.
you're acting, if you're not watching yourself act, if you're just
Mm-hmm.
in the moment and you're actively listening,
Right.
I
Right.
mean, yeah, it's I think truth is built from that, you know.
Mm-hmm. It's
So I
interesting. No, I'm sorry.
no, I'm saying I'm honored that people say that, that
Well,
means
they
I'm doing
do.
my job.
And you like, listen, okay, that mean I did it right. Give my check.
Yeah.
Thank ya. But no, and I think the beauty of around how we've seen you act and how we've really seen you show up.
Uh-huh.
I've had a lot of actors and actresses and writers on the show, and everyone has said the same thing about just truth. Living in your truth while you're in this character and really believing it, because if you don't believe it, then of course the audience is not going to believe it at all, right?
Exactly. Yep.
I want to
Mhm.
go back. Let's talk Home Before Dark,
Yes.
right? I want to talk Deputy Trip Johnson.
Yes, that was my girl. That was my very first series regular. What?
Listen, I mean, I think when you think of that role, you became the fan favorite. You really did, right?
Mhm.
And within that favorite, how do you prepare to inhibit a role like that for 20 episodes?
Well, I think it goes back to the just the structure.
Hmm.
I studied theater,
Hmm.
so there is a way that I go into the characters. But I think in 2020 it was well, I booked the role in 2018, and there were when it came to police brutality, like that was on and going. And so when I booked it, I was a little nervous. And I said, I don't know if I could play a cop. I'm scared of cops.
You're like, that's
So,
what I got to do? Okay.
I don't know about this, but what I did was there was a police station. Um, I lived in North Hollywood at the time, and I
Okay.
went down to the North Hollywood police station, and I went in. I was like, "Hi," I was like, "I'm an actress, and I just booked this role where I play a cop, and I wanted to know if I could shadow you guys for a day or just pick your brains about the life of being a cop."
Yeah.
And surprisingly, they said yes.
Oh,
And
wow.
they said yes. And I spent the day there and they just talked to me. And I met a few people and they were just telling me how it is, like what they do when they wake up, when they get to work, and
Yeah.
just dealing
Yeah.
with different situations and scenarios. And it made me feel a little bit more comfortable.
Hmm.
And I was like, okay, I'm gonna take all this into consideration. And yeah, so I mean that made me comfortable. And but I also was surrounded by so many amazing
You were.
people.
You were.
Yes.
Yeah.
Dana Fox, she was our showrunner. She was so warm, so nice, so open. And this was my very first series regular, so I didn't really know what to expect. And everybody just welcomed me with open arms. And that was I love that character. She lived very
So
dearly.
many people need to hear you say that. I think because there are a lot of people that go into these projects and they don't do what you just did, right? They're like, how can I shadow, how can I mirror somebody that's actually living this life
Yeah,
so my character can come as real as possible, right?
yeah.
But for me, I think a lot about vulnerability. And you've been super vulnerable a lot on stage and film, things like that. How do you navigate vulnerability when it comes to moments on camera, while kind of just protecting your own, I think just your own spirit off camera, right? Because to your point, in 2018 through 2025, we're still living through a lot. And I've said this a lot on the show in the last 5 years. It's very colorful right
Yeah.
now where we're living, but how do you kind of navigate the vulnerability piece of that?
Ah, I think it starts with your own personal life.
Mm,
I think because art imitates life.
yeah.
So when I can't truthfully honor a character if I'm not honoring myself.
Wow.
And we go through things. We go through ups and
We
downs,
do.
and I think our journey is here to teach us lessons. And I feel like I've been faced with different things in my life where I had to be honest with myself and
Hmm.
vulnerable. And it's a very scary place.
It
You know,
is.
to be vulnerable, and then also to just when you think about the craft, being vulnerable within the craft where there's a lot of judgment because everybody, you may not be everybody's cup of tea.
Right, right.
So, but all of that you cannot worry about what people think about your character, how you're playing it. Just like you can't worry about what people think of you in
Hmm.
real life.
Hmm.
That is none of your business what people
It's
think
not.
of you. It's what do you think of yourself?
Yeah.
And I think I come from a really amazing family, and
Hmm.
I'm glad that they love me so, and I'm able to be honest and real with myself. But just I think it's just going through things.
Hmm. And I
And
think, go ahead.
go ahead, now you go ahead.
Well, I was going to say, because lives. It has,
Life, listen, life will life, and you're like, Lord, what is going on? I don't understand. But I do think I always say this thing. Um, Everything is always working out for my good, and I truly
yeah,
believe it. And I think you have to be a little delusional
you
at
do.
times.
You
I
do.
think delusion is
Beautiful word.
great. Huh?
Beautiful word.
It's
Beautiful word.
beautiful work. It's beautiful work. I don't care what you put in front of me. I'm like, okay, this don't look good,
Mm,
but I know everything is working out for my good.
it's
It's
going to
gonna
work
work
out.
out.
It's
It
going to
has
work out,
to.
Lord. It's going to work out.
It
You be
has
like,
to
is it
be.
really? It is. I know it's going to work out.
I know it is. It is. I know it don't look like it. And you know what? It does.
Yeah.
It does.
And it
Maybe
does.
not in the way that we thought it would,
Hmm.
but it does.
And it's
And
not supposed to be in the way that we want it, right? Because it's one of those
right.
things, like I think to your point, we can dream and be as imaginative as possible, but the way the universe and God and whoever people
Yep.
pray to, is going to create the space of whatever space He wants to create it for us. And I remember doing an interview a couple of weeks ago, and people were always like, just be
Yeah.
ready whenever the universe gives you and provides you these roles that you're ready for. But I think for you, I think about your story and I think about the roles that you have actually done phenomenal in. What role has been or really kind of stretched or challenged you the most and why?
Oh, that's a good question. Um, I think I think becoming a series regular, um, and playing a cop on TV, that was really challenging.
Yeah.
That because like I said, I was like, I don't know what I'm doing. I know I
Right.
get, I got little acting skills, but I don't know anything about being a cop. And then like we did face issues on the show where my character she dealt with racism
Yep.
and becoming going from deputy to becoming sheriff on the show, and like just even me as an actor, it was more responsibility, so I
Hmm.
was even growing as an actor. And I remember we shot that in Vancouver.
Oh,
That
wow.
was my first time being out the country, away from my
Mhm.
family, and I I had to adjust. I
Yeah.
think when I got to Vancouver, was I felt like I was getting sick when I got there
Oh, wow.
because my back was hurting. I was having headaches and I didn't know what was going on. And then I went
Okay.
on Google. Google told me I was dying. I was like,
I
oh Lord.
don't know
I was
why
like,
we
I
try and self-diadiagnose ourselves all the
I
time. Like,
said,
why?
I said, now you give me with this beautiful role, and I'm about to die. And what I realized, I remember talking to one of my friends, and I was telling her my symptoms, and she said, "Friend, that sounds like stress." I was like, "Stress?"
Oh,
She was like, she said, "So you're out," because we were shooting for 6 months, my first season.
serious regular. Oh, wow.
Yeah. And she said, it sounds like stress. She said, do you have any pictures of like your family on the wall? And I was like, no. She said, okay, I need you to do that. She said it's gonna help.
Wow.
And so I flew to Vancouver. I think got there October,
Hmm.
November, and then I was able to come home for the Thanksgiving break. So when I came home, I gathered all of the photos of
Hmm.
my family,
Hmm.
and I brought them back, and just being with my family,
Yeah.
you know, 'cause
Yeah.
I flew to Houston because I live in LA, but I flew to Houston to be with them. And then when I got back to Vancouver, all of the symptoms were gone.
Of course.
I didn't have a headache anymore. I wasn't
Nothing.
stressed, no back pain. And I
Right.
was like, wow. So it was all of that because I think the new environment, dealing with imposter syndrome, like when I got the role, I was like, oh Lord, do they know who they hired? You know, it's like, how can I do this? But that really taught me that one, family is important,
Uh-huh.
and you have to take time to like calm down, be around
Hmm.
people that
Hmm.
love you, and know that I mean you got this. So I
You
think
do.
my family did reassure me. So that was, I think that was like the hardest thing that I dealt with because everything that was my first big series regular, first moving out of the country and being gone so long and having such a big role. It taught me a lot.
Yeah. And I
Taught me
think that's the beauty about this is that we all need resets. And
a lot.
sometimes we never even know, like, am I dying? No, you just need a nap.
You need a nap. Yeah. I really thought I mean, Google said, man, I was like, Lord,
This is it.
this is
This
it.
is it.
This
But
is
I think
it.
honestly, and to your point about the series regular and even fast forwarding through your career,
Hmm.
representation and the industry hit kind of
Yeah.
shifts and still shifts, right? And
Hmm.
just kind of finding Aziza's identity.
Hmm.
Um, I think about just you navigating Hollywood and specifically as a Black woman.
Hmm.
You entered Hollywood at a time when representation was kind of starting to shift.
Hmm.
What changes have you kind of personally witnessed? And I hear that a lot when we talk about the writer's strike and we talk about, the fires here in LA and we talk about just everything. There've always been something going on. But also, you came at a time when you really started to see things kind of shifting in a positive or a negative direction for you.
Hmm.
How was that experience for you?
I feel like when I came into the industry, there were more Black writers in rooms,
Hmm.
and I was booking roles that like the lines sound like something I would say.
Right.
I was like, okay,
Yeah. You
okay,
like,
progression,
okay.
we're moving
Yeah.
forward.
Moving the needle a
Um,
little bit.
yeah, yeah. So I'm very grateful for that
Okay.
because like I just knowing for so long that white males wrote for Black women. They were
Yeah.
our voices.
Yeah.
I'm like, that something sounds wrong about
Exactly.
that.
Hmm.
So I was very happy to see more of us in the room. Now,
Hmm.
2020 happens and then the pandemic and the strike. So
Hmm.
I'm not certain right now if we're still pushing forward. I would like to think that we are, but but I know that it's been a struggle for some of us to get in those rooms. Those
Yeah.
rooms are not, it's not looking like it's a lot of us
Hmm.
being invited. And I don't know what the decline is about, but I'm
Okay.
hoping and I'm positive that we'll get back to that because we need our voices to be
Yeah.
heard, and you can feel it. I
You
remember
can feel it.
you
Yep.
can feel it. I remember reading one of the episodes on Home Before Dark, and it was one of my characters. It was her arc, and I was like, when I finished reading, I was like, that sounds just like the words, everything. It flows so freely. I was like, the good. Who wrote this? And it was Timby Banks.
Oh,
And
wow.
she was a writer on her show for Shonda,
Wow.
and it sounded like me.
Yep.
And that's when I knew the importance of Black women being in the room.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And well, interesting enough, when you were speaking about that, have you ever had a chance to kind of advocate while you were on, any of these sets for your creativity of voice at all?
Um,
And
I
I know sometimes it is hard. It is, right? Because
Right.
people get nervous. They're like, I don't know. Well, I'm not saying you, but I think there are a lot of people that will say, I was able to book the role, so I'm just going to wing it. And
Yeah, I'm just happy to be
I'm
here.
just happy
Yeah,
to
yeah,
be
yeah.
here.
You
Yeah.
know what? And this is why I had the best showrunner. Dana
Yeah.
Fox was the best
Shout out to
showrunner.
Dana. Yeah.
There was a time where there was an episode I was reading, and it didn't quite sound like um, something that, as a Black woman, my character would do.
Okay.
And I remember reaching out to her, and I was, I wanted to talk about it. And that you don't do that. That's not
You
what you
don't.
do. You
They're
don't do
like,
that.
these are the words. This is what you
She
read, and you go. Yeah.
was so gracious and so open. And she said,
Wow.
okay, she was like, I'm in a meeting. I'm gonna call you back in just a second. So she called me. She was like, okay, let's talk about it. And she was so open, and it was like, okay, we're gonna change it. She was like, I understand as a white woman that I am not a Black woman.
Yeah.
So she was like, if something sounds different or
Mm-hmm.
something
Mm-hmm.
that's not authentic, she was like, if this is an open space, you can talk to me about it. We'll
Beautiful.
fix it. And we
Yeah.
got in there and we changed some things up. And I mean,
Woo!
and the rest was history. And I learned that that doesn't happen.
No. No.
That's not normal.
Mm-mm.
And so to be blessed with the type of showrunner that was just so open, so giving, so not egotistical. Like she wasn't,
Yeah.
she was just like,
Yeah.
okay, let's tell the best story that we can
Correct.
tell.
Correct.
And I'm so grateful for that. So I felt liberated in that moment.
Woo!
I was
You're like,
like,
I
I'm
did
gonna reach
something. Yeah.
out, but I had to for the character. I was like, I don't
Yeah.
know about this. But when I talked to her, she was like, absolutely,
Hmm.
let's
And
get into
you had to
those
help
deeper
protect,
things.
and you had to protect the authenticity of the character,
I had
right?
to protect the
Especially
authenticity of the character.
you're a series regular. You want to be as real as possible, and I think
Hmm.
also for you to have been a fan favorite, I think people wanted to see the authenticity of the character. And if it did not seem right, I think the beautiful thing that you did do as an artist, you said, I don't know if this sounds right, but how do we work together versus, being
Hmm.
combative. And I think those are the things that people need to hear, right? Because it is a collective. We all have to work together to make sure that these projects work, right? But you talked a lot about your family. You have an amazing family. I've met so many people throughout this city that are your cousins, your fake cousins that know you, that don't. I said the world knows this lady. But besides family, right? Who mentored or guided you really early on in your career?
I would say it would have to be my high school teacher.
It's this beautiful smile. I can't. Why do you smile? Why do you smile when you say your high school teacher?
Because
What was that
he
impact?
he was amazing, Mr. Morgan.
Shout out to Mr. Morgan.
Shout out to Mr. Morgan, my favorite teacher. I remember meeting him. I was freshman year, and I had theater was one of my classes,
Okay.
and during the bell, everybody's walking down the hallway. You're looking for your class. It's the first day of
Yeah.
school, and Mr. Morgan is standing outside the door watching all the students, walk in.
Yeah.
You know, and so when we get to class, he has this big speech, and he's like, I was standing in the hallway, and I was just watching all the kids, look for their different classes, and he said, then this one young lady turned the corner, and he was like, it was like I couldn't see anything but this lady. He was like,
Oh.
and she just walked, and like she was a star. He was like, and he was like, I just had my eyes on this young lady, and she was just walking with her head up, like she was a bona fide star. And he said, and she walked right into this class. And he was like, and she's in here right now. So everybody looking around. I'm looking
Who
around.
they
I'm like,
talking
well, who's
about?
the bona fide lady that just walked in the classroom? And he turned to me. He was like, young lady, what is your name? Stand up. Like me? Like me. And I mean, that was just the beginning of such
Wow.
an amazing relationship with him.
Yeah.
But what he doesn't know is the reason why I was walking like I was a bona fide something in that hallway is because I was begging my mama. I said, Mama, can I wear your heels? Can I wear your heels the first day of school? And she was like, no. And I begged. So that morning she was like, all right, you can wear my heels. And I couldn't even really
I
fit
was
the
about to.
heels.
Did you wear the heels?
I wore the heels.
Okay.
I don't know. I had no business wearing little bitty, long, big old heels. Look,
A little bit.
I couldn't fit. It was so bad. I couldn't fit. I put like a
Woo.
little rubber band on it so that my feet wouldn't slip and slide. Listen, you couldn't tell me. But that's why I was strutting like that because my mama finally said I could wear those heels.
You go. Shout out to your mother and Mr.
Yes.
I'm just saying. For me, I think of just your new roles, and that was a new chapter, new chapters in
Mhm.
your life, and how you just kind of captured a new energy, right?
Mhm.
Um, I really do want to one say congratulations.
Thank
Congratulations
you.
on being the first face we see in this trailer on the phone.
Come
Just
on.
I said, I know you lying. As all friends and people are looking, I know her. I know
Yes.
and I think you've joined Italiana, Universal Pictures and Will Packers Productions romantic comedy. And when that call came in, because
Mhm.
I think you announced it on your social media June, July, I believe,
Yeah.
something like
Mhm.
that.
Mhm. Mhm.
What was your first reaction? Because you have two amazing actors beside you,
Oh, yes.
like
Oh,
two
yes.
main leads. Go ahead.
Yes.
What was that reaction?
Listen, Hallie, she's amazing.
She is.
She's so great on and off camera. Um, so I booked that role the day after uh, Cowboy Carter. Went to the concert. Listen. And I think it's all about I think energy and just being like just energy is a big thing when it comes to
Mhm.
booking and of course doing the work. But I went to see Beyonce and baby I danced and
I did too.
I had a good time.
I
And I
did.
had already did the I had the original audition and then I had did the callback.
Okay.
And then I just said, what's for me is going to be for me. I
Okay.
learned that from one of those days. We'll talk about that.
Yeah.
But I learned that, what's for you won't pass you by.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I just quickly, I heard a story. I can't remember who said it, but um, they, they put it like this. If a bus is coming, right, and you are running to catch the bus and you still miss the bus, that wasn't your bus.
That's it.
But if that bus
Good.
is coming and you taking your precious time, you lally-gagging, you not rushing to get that bus, that could have been your bus.
That could have been your bus.
That could have been your bus. So what that teaches me, as long as I do the work, if it's for me, it will be for me. So I put up,
Mhm.
the tape, I had the call back, and then I let it go. Beyonce was in town, So
Listen,
I'm about to
everything
go.
drops at that point. Yeah.
Everything drops. I'm going CB. I'm a part of the Beehive. Okay, I'm from Houston, baby. I'm going CB. And I remember just having a really good time. I danced. The energy was good. I was tired. I got home. I was in the bed. I slept. I got a call early in the morning from my manager and my agent. And when they do that conference call,
When it's a conference
when
call.
it's a conference call, some good news coming.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I was laying down and they called me and my manager at the time, she was like, did you have fun at the Beyonce concert? Because I saw your stories. I was like, yeah. She was like, well, I hope you still got some energy because you're going to Italy. So I was so excited. I was like, yeah.
Wow.
And I fell in love with the character. I love
Oh,
Claire. She's so much
I'll say, what can you
fun.
share? What can you share about the character?
I can't share that much, but
Yeah.
she is Anna's best friend
Yep.
and her voice of reason.
I can
And
tell. We all can tell. Yes.
and she wants what's best for her friend. So
Yep. Yep.
she's walking that journey with her friend as explore
She
she
explores. We go when
explores
you say
Tuscany.
explores.
Yes.
Right. Well, and
Yes,
I was just
you
thinking,
mean
in that
everything.
moment, number one, congratulations for just that call. I want to acknowledge the call that so many people want. You got that call, Aziza, because you
Yeah.
worked hard for that. You deserve that call. And I want you to sit in that space
Mm-hmm.
because as you prayed and Mr. Morgan taught and your family taught and all of the people who rooted for you and still root for you,
Mm-hmm.
you got that call.
I got that call and I'm grateful, but I got a lot of no's too,
Absolutely.
and it makes you really grateful when you do get the call, but the no's they are plentiful.
You hear that a
Plenty.
lot, and especially with us living in Los Angeles, and of course, friends that
Um,
are in the industry, and same with you. I think we hear, "Oh, I'm tired of the auditioning, and I'm tired of the self tapes, and I'm tired. And I think the reality is we have to hear your story. We have to hear the stories of friends of mine and people that I've interviewed. Keep going, and be
people
ready.
have to.
And be ready. Working on a Universal, Will Packer project is major. And a huge shout out to Will. How does this moment, right? Because the trailer is finally out, and I think it came out a week, 2 weeks ago.
It was
And when it dropped, immediately I was like, I got her on my show. I was excited. But with that being said, I was just thinking, even if you didn't book that, I still got her on the show. Look, 'cause that was before we even saw the trailer. And I just think, how does this moment, right? This moment feel for you as an artist coming from New Orleans, living in Houston, and building brick by brick, no by no. How does this moment feel?
So much. One, it feels surreal at times, but I'm just so grateful. When you go through so much in the, within the industry, you can't help but just be grateful. And like if I can do it, you can do it. I am no different from anybody else that's out here getting it,
That's
you
it.
know? That's why I say if it's for you, it will be for you.
Yeah.
I feel like I call my mama all the time. My mama is my biggest fan. She's so
That's your
happy.
real manager right there. Right
Listen,
there.
she is so happy. And this is like I'm like, this is for us. Like this is my wins are her wins as well.
Yeah.
Um, just grateful, gratitude. I'm like, thank you, God. Thank you. And I won't ever take it for granted.
That's it.
And I hope that I can encourage other people to it sounds cliche, but you just really have to keep going. You get up and
You
you go.
do. You
I
do.
have cried over roles that I did not get. And I'm so happy I had friends that called me
Mhm.
and said, okay, now listen, I'm gonna give you 24 hours to cry. It's
That's
fine.
it.
You was attached to it and you didn't get
Yeah.
it. You could cry. But
Yeah.
once you have another audition coming up, get up
Get up.
and get back to it.
Absolutely.
Okay. It's not a sprint, it's a marathon.
It's a marathon. And if you guys are just joining us, we have the amazing and talented and new star of Taliana, Aziza Scott is in the building. We also saw you shine. Bernice
Yes.
on one of them days.
Mm.
What drew you to her and what parts of yourself did you kind of tap in for that film? Because I considered you probably like everybody else, the new Debo. But what drew you to that role?
Listen, okay. So, first of all, Bernice is my girl.
Listen,
Everybody needs a Bernice in their life,
everybody needs a Bernice.
okay?
Everyone
She
needs a
will take
Bernice.
care of business.
Yeah,
Her tenacity, she doesn't
listen,
stop until she gets what she wants. I
absolutely.
admire her.
I did
I
too. I
admire her.
did. I did.
But I remember during that time, I had got the audition and I was reading the description and it said something along the lines of like she was the queen of the hood or so she thought she was.
Ooh,
And when I read that, I was like, so she thinks she is. Who is to tell her? Who are they to tell her she not? So I
correct.
immediately felt offended for Bernice. So that's how I knew
Mind
that
you,
me and
mind you,
her, we were locked in.
you're acting just like her right now. I love
I was like, they're not about to, not my girl. Um, but I remember getting that audition during the time of the Kendrick Lamar and the Drake beef, and I was in it. I was in it,
You're like
right?
focused.
But I was so inspired because I was really inspired by Kendrick because I was like, this man is not just a rapper; he is a student to the art, to the
Absolutely.
craft.
Yep.
And I remember
Mhm.
I got the audition, and I said, you know what? I'm gonna do something different in this audition. I'm not gonna play by the rules. Cause I'm gonna dance to the beat of my own drum in this one. And I did. And they liked it.
Yeah.
They liked it. And then they called me in for I had a producer session in person at Sony. And I remember wearing, man, I wore a fur coat. I listen, I had I had this audition like in May. So it was hot.
I was gonna
I
say that
wore
was it was hot in LA at that
yeah, it was hot in LA. I wore a fur coat and I had like this I had my push-up bra, the boobies was in my chest.
time.
And I had some little shorts on and I had platinum blonde hair.
That's right. You did have different hair.
I had
Yeah.
blonde hair when I went in for that producer session. And I remember going, I went in as the character. I think I was the last one to go into the room.
Okay.
And I remember walking in and all it was like 9 or 10 people in the room. And they were all looking. And I I
You're like,
walked
I
in there
got
immediately. I was like, they looked at me, I looked at them, I said, hey y'all.
him.
Excuse me. I did turn it off to get the directions from the director just to let him know that I am a trained actor.
Correct. You're like, just FYI, I do take
Yes,
things.
I
And
I'm not really this way, but I remember doing that audition and fast forward when I got to set Lawrence Lamont,
uh-huh.
our director, he told me, he said, when you walked out of that room, we all looked at each other and we said, we found our Bernice. He
Woof.
and
Listen.
I was, and the crazy part is,
Oh,
I had no idea when I left out. I felt like I couldn't read them. I couldn't read the people. And
ah,
my manager was like, "Call me when you get to when you're done. Let me know how the audition went." So I
uh-huh.
called her. She's like, "How'd it go?" And I'm like,
You're like, I don't know.
"Well, I said I did the best that I could. I
Right.
said I don't know what else I could have done different.
Okay.
So you know, and
Yeah.
it was yeah.
Well, and I think it was history, but also, listen, you put in the work. I think the beauty about who you are as a woman, the characters that you really embody, you embody them. And I
Thank
think
you.
showing up in those auditions, people already know. They're just not
Yeah,
going to tell you. Listen, you only
yeah.
got one person that's going to tell you. That's Mr. Morgan, because he was like, this is a star.
He
But that was
did.
the only star that meant anything because throughout the rest of your life, listen, you're going to be a star. But you've also done network shows, streaming series, indie
Mhm.
films, and now major network studio. I mean, pictures, which is
Man,
crazy. Which creative space kind of feels most like home to you?
film.
Why is that?
Because you get a beginning, a middle, and an end, right?
Ooh,
When it comes to television, if you are a series regular, you never know where your character is gonna go,
yeah.
where they're gonna grow, which is great. You get a, you know, you get the script and you're learning as you go. But I think that when it's film, it feels like theater. So I come from
Wow.
theater. So you know your character, you know where they're going to start, and then you get to really go on that evolution with them, and then you also know where they will end. But
Mm-hmm.
it does allow you to be present during that whole arc of what's happening. And doing film is so much fun. Yes,
Really?
I love TV too. Now listen, I like it both. I don't discriminate. But but film has been so much fun. Just knowing that the character is here at the starting point, they
Mhm.
will have this obstacle and then they will land here. And it's fun to be on that journey because you also get to be present to see what your other actors are giving you, and you hear
Yeah.
things differently. And
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
so.
When people heard that you were going to be on the show, the questions started coming in like crazy. And so the first question comes from Lauren out of Miami, Florida. And she says, Aziza, when did acting shift from a dream to a destiny for you?
Oh, that's a good question. Thank you, girl. So when I moved to LA, I was scared. I was really scared, and I was working. I was working at Maggiano's, and I
Shout
had
out to
my
Maji.
best. Shout out to Maggiano's. My best friend. We were watching one of my friends on TV. It was my first time seeing a friend on TV.
Okay.
And I was telling my best friend, who was my roommate at the time, I was like, that's going to be us one day, friend. I was like, we're going to be on TV. We're going to be acting. And she looked at me and she said, ugh. I was like,
Oh,
huh? She said, why do you do that? And I was like, what? She was like, you speak like it's a fantasy. She was like, friend, you could do that right now. You're so talented. And she just got up off the couch and she walked out the room. I mean, she walked into her room. And it changed my life because I realized in that moment that I was full of all this talent, but I was so afraid to do anything because I was new to Hollywood. I didn't know how to get in, where to
yeah.
go. I didn't know what class.
Yeah, yeah.
I didn't know anything. I just hid behind working because you gotta survive when you're out
You
here.
do.
You
You
have to
do.
survive. And I said, oh, am I making this a fantasy? I said, okay, all right, I have to do something different. And I did what I knew. I didn't know nothing. So I
You
was
like,
like,
I didn't
okay,
know anything.
I got into play. I did a play because I come from theater. I was like, well, I
Yeah.
can at least get in the show. And I did a show. It was
Right.
like 3 people that showed up to the play, but it was the start. And
Listen,
that
they
was
showed up. There you go.
they showed up, and then but you build community. I had
You
the
do.
cast. They told me about certain acting classes, and so I started to build a community. And then I was like, oh, I can really do this thing.
Hmm.
I can. And when I quit Maggiano's, the day listen, I quit Maggiano's. I said, you know what? I think I got something. And I remember when I quit, I felt real good about it until I think I quit on a Sunday. I'm off on a Monday. Then I go to work on Tuesday, where that's where I make my money. So when Tuesday rolled around, I got scared because I was like, "Who? I ain't gonna make no money today, Lord." Wait a minute. And
Story is so real right now, and I love
I
every moment of
said,
it.
I'm not gonna make no money today. But I got an audition on Wednesday,
Oh wow.
and I found out on Friday that I booked it. The week I quit my
The
job.
week you quit your job.
And I was like, all right, you showing me, universe, you showing me this
Mhm.
is it. This is where I belong. I'll be okay.
Yeah. And that's what alignment feels like, right?
Yeah.
You've spoken about that this entire conversation, right? Being present and being ready. And I think we always have that piece inside of us that feels comfortable, right? Me, I'm coming from the South, and it's always our family. Make sure you got a job because you got to pay your bills, right? But then also it's that I'm going to try just in case to be able to kind of push to that next level. And you did that. You did that not effortlessly, but you did that because you had a lot of faith in yourself and you continue to have faith in yourself. April from Atlanta, Georgia, funny enough, she says, Aziza, are you someone who sees pieces of yourself in every character that you play, or do you prefer a full transformation?
Oh, baby, it's pieces. It's pieces. I think that if I was playing, whether if it's Mother Teresa
Mhm.
to the worst character you've seen on television,
Yeah.
you have to figure out in this circumstance, what will cause me to behave this way or to do something like this? And you have to not judge the character, and
Mhm.
you find it, you know.
You do.
Yeah, I think when you're not judging the character, because bad people don't think they're bad.
They don't think
Everybody
about
thinks everything that they
Yep.
do is justified, right? So you
Yep.
have to find, okay, I've never been in this type of situation before, but I have been in this kind of situation. So how I always try to figure out how I'm alike when it comes to my character, not so
Yep.
much how I'm different.
Hmm.
And then that is where I find my in when I'm trying to
Yeah.
get into the character. And it's beautiful. You discover so much there.
Yeah. And you
And
discover a lot
and
about yourself.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, no judge me. Yeah, you got to get in there. Hmm.
Um, As I get ready to wrap our show, in 2020, when we started the show, I recurated the end of the show called The Therapy Session.
Okay.
And within this, it's one of those moments that nobody ever knows the questions because I don't know, for some reason, it always gets people emotional. I'm like, Lord. But I love it because a lot of your fans and friends and people have probably never ever heard you respond in this magnitude because it shows our vulnerability, right? Not a long moment. First thing that comes to your mind, what are some of your personal values?
God, family, and my dedication to growth.
What brings you the most joy in life?
Ooh, the smile on my family's face.
How do you handle disagreements or confrontations in relationships?
I try to figure out what did I do? What did I make an error, and could I have handled the situation differently? I always go within first. What could I have done differently?
Mhm.
I
Same, I always try.
taking accountability.
Yeah,
I was just talking to my friends about that. Accountability is a big thing because when you take accountability, you actually can make a change if that situation comes up again. But when you don't take accountability, you don't think you did anything wrong, which means you're going to repeat the mistake again. So I'm always like, okay, well, let me see. All right, I did my bad.
I did. Okay, got it. I hear you.
I'm learning.
Exactly. What is something you're unwilling to compromise on?
um, Knowing that everything is always working out for my good. I won't compromise
Mm.
that everything is always working
Mm.
out for my good.
How would your friends describe you?
Uh, they would say I am sensitive. I think they would say I'm funny.
Yeah.
Um, and hopefully loving. I really do love the people around me. Tribe and community is so important, and
Yeah.
that's also something I wouldn't sacrifice. I have the best group of people around me.
What does commitment mean to you?
Mm, um, Commitment means we are dedicated to beasting this world together.
Mm. But what makes you laugh?
Random things.
Same. You send me a reel on Instagram. I am busting out laughing.
Things that you don't expect.
Exactly. Last two, what is something you are proud of right now?
That's really good. I'm proud of who the woman I'm proud of the woman that I'm becoming. I'm always growing. I don't know everything. Um, but I am here and I'm ready. I'm ready to face the fear. I'm ready to face whatever, whatever is ahead of me because I know that at the end everything is always going to work out for my good.
I
And I'm
love that
proud that I know that.
you've said that since we started this
Hmm.
interview. Finish this for me. I know I'm walking in my purpose when.
I know that I'm walking in my purpose when the hairs on the back of my neck stand up. And that happened, yeah. It's a feeling. And when I feel that, I'm like, "Ooh, okay. I'm supposed to be right here."
You're supposed to be right here. Listen, from setting the stage to your craft and your calling to representation within the industry and kind of shifting the identity of the spaces that you have been a part of to your new roles and opportunities and new chapters and new energy. Aziza Scott, born in New Orleans, raised in Houston, Texas. What do you want your legacy to be?
Ooh, I would say I don't know if I can really control that. I think it's for other people to decide what that looks like, but I hope that whatever it is positive, and I make people feel um in a positive light. I pray that they can look back and say, man, her being here did make a difference. So I hope that's the story that's told.
I want to thank you for being who you are. I want to thank you for all the footprints that you have set for your family. I want to
Thank
thank you for your mom. I want to thank you for your mother and the dreams that she dreamt for you, the prayers that she continues to pray for you.
Yeah.
I want to thank you for your heart, for going out constantly and still doing every single no and turning that into a yes.
Mhm.
Any last words you want to leave for any of your new listeners and fans and all of this? She didn't know we were going to do all of that today. Listen, I told you, 5 years in, baby, this is what we do.
Listen, I'm not mad at it. Well, one, thank you so much for having me on your show. I think that everything happens for a reason.
Yeah,
And running into you and us having that conversation,
I
I'm like, yes,
know.
I have to be on the show. Yes.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So thank you so much for lending your platform to me.
Of course,
And
of
for all
course.
the listeners, make sure you check out You, Me, and Tuscany.
Uh-huh, uh-huh.
And but I guess I would leave you with keep going, guys. And no matter what it is, it doesn't have to be this career. Whatever it is that you are doing in life, you have to do whatever your gift is, take a risk. Take a risk.
I appreciate you for taking that risk. And I want everyone to make sure that they follow you at Aziza Scott on Instagram. DM her, support the brand new film, support some of the older films that have, say
Yes.
older films, but the older films that she's been a part of. And I just want to say thank you. I want to thank you just for being a blueprint for so many other young girls, young Black girls, young girls in general,
Yeah.
so that are going to look at this and hear your voice and see themselves within you. And as we always say on Power 97.5 LA, Power V 97.5 Vegas, iGlobal Media, and iHeart Radio. Stay positive, but stay creative until next time. Thank you guys for tuning in.
Thank you.